Matthew Wong. This is my week 4 envelope assignment. So my first envelope is the apple inside of all the apples inside of the vase. So the way that I did this one is I kind of orientated everything around the vase itself. So I split it into fourths and I built off all the apples from that. Throughout each of my envelopes, I use a lot of notations and markings for fractions in order to somewhat mathematically deduce where things should be and if it's properly measured and such. This one, I honestly did not find that difficult. And it might be surprising that some other ones I found were difficult, but we'll get into that. The second one I did was this kind of pyramid and sphere. I didn't think this one was that hard, as there was only two really main objects of interest in it, and I felt that the ratios weren't too confusing. I mainly throughout the other envelopes, I choose like a primary subject or primary shape, and I build off of that in order to have everything like look cohesive. So I chose the pyramid and I measured the pyramid and I made sure everything was measured right. I used my pencil a lot to measure, and then I put the sphere there and using my guidelines that I measured in order to have everything look like somewhat proportional. So I skipped two, and my third one was this teapot. My fourth one was this wide vase. So the teapot, I actually found very pretty easy. So what I did was I made this kind of grid. I use the main ratios that I use throughout the drawing process for all of these were fourths, eighths, and sixteenths. So for this one, I believe I split it vertically into fourths and I split it horizontally into eighths, and I use this kind of grid to make like this negative space as like a box, and I built off of that, and I used this kind of like triangle shape using these different points in order to get like these curves, and I do the same thing for the spout. And I didn't really struggle too much with the teapot. It was pretty enjoyable to draw. As for the vase was also pretty similar. I used the fourths in order to split the actual top of the vase, and these spots for negative space, they're eighths, and they go all the way down, and I use that as the guidelines for the curve. And the base is only 2/4 in respect to the top. So the last two that I did were the ones that I struggled with the most, quite frankly, which were the more geometric ones. So I found that I was kind of struggling to draw straight lines with these ones, and since they had a lot less curves, I felt like the lack of proper straight lines made it so that it kind of offset the geometric shape of the square and the cubes and the cylinders. So I did this one fifth, and I felt like it could have been a lot cleaner, but as a result, so like my lines, I kind of struggled with that one, even though the ratios were fine or acceptable at least. For this one, I kind of measured the height of everything by using a vertical by splitting the vertical line ratio. So I believe I make it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I made it I believe twelfths. So all of these are 12s, and I use that in order to deduce the height of everything and then draw it. Overall, this assignment was fairly enjoyable.